Hello, 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 hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Of course, it's Friday, it's November 1st. The year is almost over, as weird as it sounds. It genuinely has flown by so fast. But today we are not here to talk about that, obviously. Today we are talking about tomorrow's early kickoff, which already in a way spells trouble for Arsenal, game against Newcastle. That game, I don't know what to expect. I genuinely have no idea what to expect. However, on today's agenda on the stream, we're gonna talk about Mikel Arteta's interview. We're gonna talk about bits and bobs here or there. Of course, we're gonna talk about Newcastle, as I said, as we was talked before, and on all top of that, we're gonna talk about the potential starting 11 and all that good stuff because there is quite a bit of stuff to discuss given the fact what Mikel Arteta has said in the interview. So definitely there is quite some bit to talk about. So we're definitely gonna dive into that straight away. Big up Nathan in the chat. Big up my guy. Big up coach. I'm doing fantastic. It's Friday. I took a day off today, so from work. So I spent all my day today home, which is fantastic to be honest. Got a time to relax, chill, and all that stuff. So that was fantastic. Hope you're doing well. I know we played Preston, but do you think that system can translate to other games? Potentially, it depends just who we play against, who definitely we play against, because you cannot just take system for granted in a way, in the sense that obviously Preston is championship team that's battling, at the moment at least, relegation. And if you kind of start to compare it to Premier League sides that are top 10 candidates and top 6 candidates, it is a bit... It's a very grey area where on some days it could work, on some days it couldn't, obviously. Especially given our injury boosts, which we're going to talk about in a second, definitely we could do something very, very different there. The DM forming a back 3, both fullbacks inverting in the front 5. It could work. It will work. It will work at some points, definitely, 100%. I cannot say it won't. It just depends on the opponent and how they decide to play. Because unless we come up against like another mid-low blocks type of stuff, that it most likely won't work. But as soon as team opens up a bit, tries to go for it, teams that don't play defensively per se, in a way, it actually could work like a charm. It all depends, and also depends on starting 11. Because if we play the same style, just with different players that actually don't fit the system, again, it would be more detrimental, and if we do that, would do more harm than good, of course. In that sense, at least, how I feel about it. Hope everyone had a good week. I feel we have overcome the blimp. We have injured players coming back. Lots to look forward to be a good stream. Yeah, to be honest, that is the case. Quite a bit of injury news, and not in a negative light, in quite positive light, which is actually freaking fantastic if you are an Arsenal fan long term, and for this season. So it will be very, very interesting how we kick on from now on. Obviously, some players missing is still a bit of an issue, but overall, it should be very, 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 very darn good. But yeah, of course, before we get into Arteta's interview, if you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe. Trying to hit 300 subscribers before the year ends. Smash that thumbs up, and of course, get live interactive in the chat. And if you're new, and of course, if you cannot catch the live stream, even if you're watching this as a playback, leave down a comment below. But yeah, of course, we are starting with Mikel Arteta's pre-match press conference before Newcastle game. Tomorrow, it's early kickoff, 12:30 kickoff, which is never, ever, ever a good thing. Because early kickoffs, notoriously, are very, very mid games, to say the least. And I'm talking about the teams here, I'm talking about the performances. And Arsenal against Newcastle last year, due to controversial decision, obviously lost 1-0. Although we had some chances, we didn't put them away, one counter, and we got done over that. So we definitely are looking a bit of a revenge in that regard. No questions asked. But overall, it will be a very interesting game. And I would say playing Newcastle away, even though they are in not the best of forms, let's just put it that way, is more of an issue for Arsenal than anything. Because if we were playing a good Newcastle side that was top 6, I think it would for Arsenal be more opportunistic. Because at this stage where Newcastle is, the way I look at it is they have more to gain than nothing to lose, pretty much. And they are like a wounded animal at the moment. Their season has not kicked off very well. 3 draws, 3 wins, 3 losses. So it's not looking great for them. And they legit have all the reasons to go for it, and if they lose, they lose. They have nothing to lose pretty much. Yes, they will lose 3 points, but it's Arsenal. In this sense, it is Arsenal, and if they go for it, nobody will blame them. Obviously, Eddie Howe will set them up in a bit differently, compared to different previous games. He kind of has a blueprint how to try and play against Mikel Arteta. But yeah, that's the thing. Eddie Howe also has lots of riding on this game, as Nathan is saying. There are some whispers going around of Eddie Howe being one of the next potential managers to be sacked this season in Premier League. So he definitely will have some extra fire lit in his eyes and up his ass as well to try and do well. And it is kind of a free hit for Newcastle, arguably. Obviously, Newcastle's expectations for this season was another top 6 finish and fight for top 4. But it hasn't panned out this way. There are lots of rumors talking about Isak and other players not wanting to extend contracts. Some bigger teams might try to kind of lure them away, in terms that also includes Arsenal about Isak. So it will be very, very interesting how they look. But again, for me, in this instance, for Newcastle, this for Arsenal is a bigger test than if Newcastle were about top six at the moment. I genuinely believe so, because plus it's an early kickoff and we are going away. So if it all adds up, I'm not expecting an easy game for Arsenal. I'm not expecting an easy win for Arsenal. I'm expecting Arsenal to win, obviously, but I'm not expecting to be maybe as easy as some people are saying, because the most I'm seeing on social media are people saying, oh, Newcastle are struggling, they are mid-table at the moment, they are not looking great, should be an easy win. I don't think that is the case. Arsenal usually struggle in these early kickoffs. The fact that we have to go on away and everything, it's definitely going to add extra burden and extra heavyweights on Arsenal's legs in that regard. It will slow them down. And Newcastle at home obviously are a force to reckon with no matter what. Depends what Newcastle comes out as well. I think at the moment Newcastle are one of those teams that also feels that it depends what type of Newcastle comes out. And I don't mean starting 11, I don't mean what players he selects. Because there are teams, at least Newcastle this season strike me as a team that if they just come out and everything's clicking for them, it will be very hard game and it can go either way. If Newcastle comes out and they're not looking great, Arsenal will win, obviously. And there are multiple teams in Premier League that basically is a question mark depending on what team comes out. Same, for example, like Brighton, Brentford, teams like that, which basically you don't know what you're gonna get. Because Brighton, Brentford could come out for a game and you smash them 5-0, but the same team could come out and just smash you 3-0. You don't know what kind of Newcastle you will gonna get. And I kind of feel that at the moment still Newcastle are a bit of a wounded animal. And slowly but steadily, you can see that their season is a bit falling apart in a way. And obviously about the talks as well with the Howe potentially getting sacked and everything. It will be very interesting how Newcastle respond to all of this. And on top of that, it will be interesting because the win against Arsenal for Newcastle are not just worth 3 points, it will be much more for them than anything. A win for Arsenal this instance obviously means that we will kind of keep our position on near top of the table. We will be in top 3 by the end of this game week. But on top of that, it could be one of the last nails we put in Newcastle's dream and in Newcastle's coffin in terms of Eddie Howe and everything. So in a way, you could argue there's quite a bit riding on this game. Yet at the same time, it's a game where it's a game where if Arsenal lose, they will lose much more than 3 points. If Newcastle lose, it's nothing special. In a way, let's be real. If Arsenal win, it's great for them. If Newcastle do, it's phenomenal for them. So it's a very, very tricky game, what I'm expecting from tomorrow. Newcastle have health in their team. If we aren't, exactly, they will trouble us. We have to start strong with best available lineup and on the front foot. That's the thing. Because one thing with Arsenal, which is still a bit of a worry for me, is the midfield. Because one thing that Newcastle have is a very strong, very decent midfield. Your Joe Lintons, Bruno Guimaraes and players like that, they will rough you up. They know how to score goals. They know how to pass the ball. Some players maybe more than others, but again, at the same time, the physicality they possess in their midfield could be a bit of an issue for Arsenal, because we all have seen what happens with Arsenal, no matter what team it has been under Arsene Wenger, under Emery, under Ljungberg even if you want. under Mikel Arteta. If your opponents for Arsenal, get rough against us and very physical during the game, Arsenal very much get done over many times. Because remember when we played against Everton, 2-3 games, and Lavia pretty much was bossing our whole midfield. Because he just genuinely was quick, was strong, and he wasn't afraid to put in challenges and be physical with us. And that is something Arsenal tends to sometimes shy away from. And we saw that also with Martinelli against Konate, for example. That is the case. That is the case. Yeah, Saliba is back. He played against Preston. That one match suspension has passed and he will play. He has to play. He played against Preston pretty much. He played against Preston, so definitely he will play tomorrow. In my opinion, at least. Better than a nightmare at striker at St. James. Oh, sorry. At St. James. Better than a night game. I would rather play only. Yeah, that's true. Definitely. Arguably, yeah. Evening games that would be more rough. At the same time, early kickoffs in general, no matter what the league is, it is a rough one for either team. Because usually the proper starting time is like 3 p.m., 4 p.m. kickoffs. Then there's obviously late 4, 6 p.m. and everything. Usually the very early kickoffs are not such a big of a thing. What time is the Arsenal game? It is 2:30 kickoff, right? Tomorrow. I'm not tripping on this because I would look like a big idiot. Yeah, it's 12:30 kickoff. So definitely that is the big thing. Those early kickoffs are the one that really meshes everyone up in a way. True, like West Ham, they have quality on the pitch, but they have been poor. Lopetegui, my money is on next. Yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if one of the relegation candidates definitely gets sacked as well. One of the managers. And Lopetegui on top of that also could be the case. Southgate to Newcastle would make sense. It would, but how do they want Southgate as their manager? I don't think so. We need to get Gyökeres for Arsenal and sell Jesus at Partey. Partey at the moment is doing very well. If he can stay fit and be on top of his game, I don't mind him staying till the end of the season. Contract extension, that is a bit different one, obviously. But getting Gyökeres, I think would be one of the big ones is a must do. We need an attacker. Because I was looking at the stats the other day, and many social medias, many newspapers and news outlets like, your Telegraph, Suns, although not trustworthy, even Sky Sports and many pundits are saying Arsenal have creativity issue. But if you look at the stats, Arsenal actually don't have creativity issue. Even with Odegaard out, we are creating enough chances to score. The issue what Arsenal has is finishing issue. We cannot finish those chances to save our lives. We are missing insane amount of chances we create. And if you look at them overall, if we signed a proper striker for even Gyökeres, right? We would at least allow that number minimized by 30 to 40% easily. And that means we would score about extra 8-9 goals. And in these instances against Brighton, that most likely is a win. Potentially even against City, that could have been a win. Against Bournemouth, maybe we could have gotten a draw and everything. It's Arsenal, this creativity issue is a big myth. Because obviously we all are saying, oh, we need Odegaard to help us and create. But we don't need Odegaard to create. We are creating enough most of the time. The issue is we cannot finish. Because when we get chances, we mostly either hit it in row Z, somewhere in the grandma in the last stands gets the hurricane kicked away, or we hit it at the goalkeeper. Those are the two, or miskick the ball, obviously, that's the third option. We usually do that. We just don't get it on target, or we overplay the ball. Sometimes when we have a clear-cut chance to try and shoot, we try to pass it into empty net, when at that instance, rather take a shot than pass it off. Just score the goal and that's it. Don't overcomplicate things. Because Arsenal have this tendency when they are on the attack to overcomplicate things. When they have a chance to shoot in the box sometimes, because I know it's good to shoot and it's good to pass the ball, be a team player. But sometimes you need a player who is a bit selfish and just decides to whack it at the net when there is a chance. Similarly like Vanieri did against Preston. Because if there's Odegaard playing in Vanieri, instead of Vanieri in that instance where Vanieri scored, there is no chance in hell Odegaard is dropping that shoulder, taking that extra touch, and instantly curling it top bins. Most likely he will take the ball in his feet, do some three dribbles, look around, and then pass it sideways to Saka or to Party or to whoever. 9 times out of 10, even 99 out of 100 times, Odegaard tends to do that when he's playing. Wanjiri is more direct. He likes to carry the ball. In that instance, he takes a touch and just whacks it. He did that 3-4 times against Preston. One time it came off, he scored a goal, and another time he did it. It was pretty much copy-paste scenario from copy-paste position. He just hit the bar and the ball went out. He could have been on 2 banging goals by the end of the game. And that's why I like Wanjiri in this instance, because yes, he maybe isn't as good as dribbling as Odegaard, but at the same time, he can dribble. He can carry the ball himself, which, in my opinion, pretty much no one in Arsenal teams tends to do these days, because the last one, in my opinion, we had was Emil Smith-Rowe, when he had that breakout season, arguably, like 3-4 seasons ago, when he and Saka single-handedly saved Arteta's job. Then ESR was carrying the ball in this instance. And I think Wanjiri has that something about him that gives him a bit of an edge. It's very interesting because Wanjiri is a very big talent, in my opinion. And as weird as it will sound right now, and don't start to judge me in the comments and chat and everything, Wanjiri has these instances and these mannerisms, footballing IQ, the way he sees the game, where he quite a bit excels in games over Martin Odegaard. He has that. Because Wanjiri, either it's because he's 17 and he has a bit of a naivety about the game, where he just doesn't overcomplicate the things. He thinks straight ahead. Touch, bang. Touch, pass. Touch, do. Or touch and carry the ball a bit. Because Odegaard has this thought process. Touch, dribble, look around, dribble, maybe protect, then pass it off. It's like Odegaard slows down the game for Arsenal when they are in attack. Too much for my liking. Wanjiri is constant movement, constant motion, constant action, which more often than not, obviously, is a good thing. Against certain opponents, it's not a good thing where you need that slowing down instance where Odegaard excels at. But Wanjiri has that directness and that action move type of situations where he excels much, much more than Martin Odegaard. And that is something I really like about him. And that's why I also want him to start for goddamn game at least once this season. In Premier League, at least. We had Alexis who could do both, like Zaha, Hazard. Yeah, Alexis did something that like 3-4 players are doing, basically. Alexis in that Arsenal team at the time, he was doing like he had the best abilities like 3-4 players Arsenal have had over the years, and he was combined into one, and that's what made him as great as he was at the time. We need a direct player, exactly. Mitoma in January or left. I don't want Mitoma at Arsenal. He has fallen off massively, and even he has a PhD or whatever in dribbling and taking on opponents from university or whatever that crap means. I don't think he is the one that we need at the moment. I genuinely don't think. What about Adingra so far? Yeah, Adingra is setting everything on fire, literally. Well, not literally, he's on fire, but I think he would be hell expensive. Just signed on top of that as well. And he's in a good form, so if we want to sign him instantly as soon as he has signed, it would cost us insanely substantial amount of money, and I think that money could be used elsewhere. Yeah, I think Mitoma is no good. I think he's nearly at his peak and everything. I don't think Mitoma is no good. He's like on that side, and it just doesn't feel like it. In my opinion, Trossard is better than Mitoma. That is also the case. Why would I want to sign another player who is the same or even worse than players we have right now? It should be all about the improvement, shouldn't it? I like Adingra, even Brian, but yeah, exactly. Adingra, potentially, yeah. Buemo as well would be amazing. And Siso could be a long-term Trossard replacement. I think he's an upgrade. Long-term, yeah, but you see, if we sign Siso, that means we need to sign still another winger. Because where we are at the moment, we need player that can start and carry the team in the starting 11, and then you can have your substitutes that kind of maybe get some games and everything. And at the moment, I'm not sure Arsenal will go for that on wings. Unless they sell Trossard and Martinelli, for example, then they are obligated to sign two. If they don't do that, bigger chance than not, they might sell one and then sign one. And then sign on the other side as a backup potentially for Saka. Yes, I'm happy to replace both Martinelli and Trossard. To be honest, for the money we could get for Martinelli and Trossard, which would be around, I would assume, 80 to 100 million combined, given that I cannot ask too much money for Martinelli given his recent performances. I would say 30 for Trossard, 35 maybe, 60 to 75 for Martinelli, that's 110 million. We could nearly buy, I don't know, Kvaratskhelia, potentially. We could go and sign Nico Williams if Arteta wants him. Personally, I wouldn't, but if Arteta wants him, I guess he could go and sign him. Because Trossard will now play in the middle, Mitoma second half for Martinelli. Trossard won't play down the middle. As soon as Odegaard is back, Trossard will be back at wing. And more chances than not, given how Vanjeri is playing, at least that's the way I look at things. I would actually, if you sub off Odegaard, sub on Vanjeri. That's how I look at things. Why not? At the moment, just give him the goddamn chance. I'm sick of tired of that he doesn't get enough chances, that he has proven himself enough that he actually deserves at least some game time, proper one, not getting subbed off every other or every third game and just playing the cups consistently. For me, Trossard is just a winger at the moment. Like Trossard, he's a very hit and miss, he's a very streaky player, what it feels like. Because he can have a brilliant game here or there, or he can have like 3-4 brilliant games, and then he falls from the face of the earth for the next 4 or 5 games again. Similarly like Havertz. Havertz also goes on a like 4, 5, 6 game scoring streak, and then he goes missing on scoring sheet for 4, 5, 6 games again. We need more consistency in the team. It's bad enough that we cannot finish chances on consistent basis. But at the same time, as well, we need someone who can do that. It's bad enough that we miss them, we just also don't score and we just don't perform consistently as well. I guess Williams and Enciso are mad. I would... That's the thing, left wing... Replacing left wing for Arsenal is hell on earth. Because there are not many good left wingers you could sign, and the ones you could sign will cost you arm and a leg because they're the best at their position in the world in general. That is also... Market is very thin for certain positions in my opinion. So Trossard surplus requirements, same like Martinelli. I don't want to speak on Martinelli, but based on the last year and a half, it would lead to believe me so, because I don't think per se that he is a bad player. I think more than Martinelli's issue with all of this is the way Arteta changed the system. Because, again, Martinelli's best season was when we were attacking. Lots of attacks, expansive running behind, open spaces, run and just score and shoot billion times until we score. Martinelli was good at that because he has the space, he has the ability to run in, and he can move all the time. At the moment, unless we play against super high line like Spurs, like, well, City and Liverpool, maybe Brighton to some extent, and maybe Brentford, rest of the teams play low block, and our Arsenal play very controlled style of football, and we are camped on opponent's edge, pretty much on opponent's box, near it. And Martinelli just doesn't excel at being a very slow, methodical player. If Martinelli would like to exceed at that, he would need to learn quite a bit of skills to try and take on opponent in very narrow areas. He needs to learn how to dribble and skill in very tight spaces, and he cannot actually do that. For me, it's a very risky debate in this instance. It's very even. You could make arguments for him to get sold. You could make arguments for him to stay. It just depends on if it comes, if it doesn't, pause, on if he wants to sell or not. Adingra could be the choice, but he's very still young. Martinelli is worth his weight in gold to this team. Could be. At the same time, Arteta has tried to replace him 2-3 times already. So, I'm not sure what's going on in that position. Because, in general, when you look at Arsenal, our left side, and I mean left back and left wing, are the positions that are screwed up the most. No idea how, over 5 years and nearly 800 million spent, we haven't managed to fix those two positions, But we are where we are at the moment. That is the big question right now. That for me is the biggest question. Our left back position hasn't been fixed. At least it's not consistent at the moment. And our left wing position also is the one that's not fixed. Because if you look at this, our number 10 is fixed, arguably. Right wing is fixed. Right back, center backs, goalkeeper. You could say our midfield partially is also fixed. That left side arguably is our one of the weakest links. Left back, left wing, and striker. Those three positions for me are a bit weak. Well, not a bit, quite a bit weak in that sense. Yeah, exactly. Left side is weak for us. Adingra third. Yo, that's on Transfermarkt, right? You realize that age comes into play, form, and everything. Plus, Adingra is from Brighton, so that will be again 50 million at least. And Sisso is from also Brighton. No, Leicester, Brighton, right? And Sisso is also. That again will be another 50 million. Because Brighton doesn't care about trophies. It looks that way. They are just pretty much doing what Portuguese teams do. Sign players for basically pocket change and then sell them for gazillion gold bars. They basically make double the triple profit more or less on every single signing they make. They're doing like Portuguese levels type of situation. I don't know. It's a very hit and miss because you could say Transfermarkt valued him at that. But player's worth is what the club asks for him. And whatever they ask, that's what they think is worth. And you cannot just say that he's worth it that and that. As weird as it sounds. Which left back would you get that's a specialist? Alphonso Davies, Nafrig. Alphonso Davies, left back, Arsenal. Could work. Defensively, he is very questionable defensively though. The thing that is bailing him out is his pace. Similarly like Hector Bellerin at Arsenal when he just came, until he got that massive injury on his leg, it was a similar situation. He was very good with pace, and that pace basically saved him many times defensively. I still remember how Bellerin tracked that Bayern Munich counter-attack, single-handedly just ran the whole pitch and get a block in there. But yeah, I think that's similarly like Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker also has the physicality, but he never, in my opinion, has been a very high-end elite defender. The thing that's helping him was the fact that he has insane amounts of pace and that he has strength and he can bully players off the ball when he catches up to them. That's how I see it, just my opinion. Davies and Williams on the left, Saka, White, Timber on the right, solid. Potentially. That's a Man United signing. To be honest, I've read today that Man United are looking at Nico Williams. By the way, Vinny Jr., no idea how, what, when and why, but they're looking at him. Allegedly, obviously, but that's just rumors. And they're still looking at Davies as well. Anyways, let's get into this transfer business. Let's get into the Arteta interview, goddammit. Who else on the left back role? Not versatile. Exactly, Vinny. That's the thing. If you are looking for out and out left backs, they're legitimately, if you want a very high end proper left back, if as one of the biggest clubs in the world, there maybe you can count them on one hand. Maybe even you can count them on one hand. Besides that, that's it. Genuinely. Well, you keep looking at, yeah, as long as you don't do it, I don't know, with a telescope from the house across the road and everything, because then it's creepy a bit and stalkerish. But if you look at the photo, keep looking at it. Anyways, let's get into Mikel Arteta interview. On the sympathy, what's going on in Spain? Yeah, what's happening in Valencia with the floods and everything, that's just, not gonna lie, heartbreaking to watch. Before I went live, I was sitting and watching the video footages and news reports on that. It's actually devastating to watch. How many lives have been lost, how many lives have been ruined and everything in Valencia. It's actually insane. Anyways, moving on. Gabriel's availability. We have training session today. If he can complete that, he'll be available. He hasn't had any training sessions yet, but if he's able to do that today, he will be available to be in the squad. Which arguably with Mikel Arteta translates that he will play. That's how I see it, because I've read this about what Saka was saying the same thing. Also, Timber arguably was being said about the same thing. So, more chances than not that Gabriel will start the game tomorrow. More chances than not. Calafiori, White, and Odegaard. Calafiori, Odegaard are definitely out. With Ben White, we don't know yet. He hasn't trained yet. He could not train. He could not get involved. So let's wait and see if he is available. Which arguably means that we could see another Thomas Partey on right back position tomorrow. Thomas Partey against Anthony Gordon could be Peakums, not gonna lie. It could be a bit Peakums if we look at it that way. It could be a bit peak for Arsenal if that actually comes to life. And if there's concern about the gap at the top of the table, you want to be first, you want to win every game. We know the situation that we have to play in with this position, but we are right in the mix. We know the tough challenge that we are going to face tomorrow, but we are fully ready for that. Well, that's at least a good thing to know. On last season's trip to St. James Park, his comments afterwards, it's a pass, let's not talk about it. On if the standard of refereeing has improved since then, my intention was not that the comments worked. I have to say that what I feel on the day, they're certainly trying their best. Nice way to sucking up to them, knowing if you say what you think, you're gonna get fined once again and banned for 6 games. By the way, already, just saying, I've seen on social media Top Gooners, Arteta sexuals, Arteta OnlyFans, and all them people, right? Already finding excuses for Arsenal to lose, saying that the same ref that was disallowed something, or it wasn't a yellow card that would result in a red in one of the Arsenal games this season, right, is already on VAR. So already they're saying, 100% if there's VAR decision, we're not gonna get it. So already there are excuses coming up all over the place from all of them. And if he learned something new about the group in the Liverpool game, unfortunately, a lot of things happened that we didn't even plan for. Yeah, true. Injuries and stuff like that, conceding goals, not going for in the second half, ruining the game and everything. I was suspecting with the size of the squad that we had to be very adaptable in the season, and that's something we have worked from day one in the preseason. But obviously, not to be that adaptable, especially in certain scenarios, but for sure the team showed an incredible capacity to compete, to be better than an opponent in many moments. In the first half, 100%. But it's the truth that in the second half, we very early again, something happened that affected the rest. We are there. Yeah, that Gabriel thing wasn't great. I'm not gonna lie, that definitely wasn't too great. Anyways, let's see what you're saying in the chat before we continue. Robinson from Fulham is a proper left back, immediate upgrade on Z. As a left back for sure. But the thing is, why would I, as an Arsenal fan at least, entertain the idea of signing Robinson if we have perfectly good left back in the club as a proper left back? In this instance, I'm talking about Kieran Tierney. The thing is, he cannot invert, and well, that's about it, to be honest. He cannot invert, and that's where Arteta wants to basically sell him. Let's be real, because he can do everything rest. He can overlap, he can shoot, he can pass. And if you look at Zinchenko, Kivior, and even Calafiori, at least from what we have seen right now, he's much better at defending than they are. And he also can play left center back since he plays there for Scotland. So why are we going to do that in this instance? Tete also proper right back. Fulham's fullbacks are... Fulham has decent fullback. Decent mid-table, maybe arguably around 10 spot team, definitely. If they can manage to put it together, they would be there 100%. I also I'm sitting here and thinking, what if they still had Paulinho and Mitrovic? That would be actually kind of nuts if you think about it, but it is what it is, I guess, at the end of the day. This is actually the day to play Zinchenko. Newcastle have crap left wing. You mean right wing, right? Because right wing is the player that's gonna be against Zinchenko. Yeah, exactly. I mean right wing. Who they have at right wing? Who they are playing in right wing? Wait. Let's look at the games they have played and who they are playing at right wing. Now, against Chelsea in Cup, it doesn't matter, but it's the Cup. They played Gordon at right wing. Yo, if he plays Gordon on right wing again, I don't want to see Zinchenko at left back. No chance in hell, by the way. Just putting it out there right now. They lost against Chelsea 2-1, and he played Almiron at right wing. To be honest, Almiron also would cook Zinchenko. Almiron also would cook Zinchenko in my opinion. With the skills, I know he's arguably on the way out in Newcastle's team. But again, it kinda could be all over the place. And against Brighton, he played Murphy on the right wing. So I have no idea who they're gonna play there. But it's not looking too great. Let's just put it that way. It's not looking too great. Zinchenko, Odegaard, Rice in the mid would be lit, but Mikel... Well, we are never gonna see, I guess, Zinchenko in the midfield. I think we must buy Sesko in January. I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon. He just signed a new deal, didn't he? Which makes him even more expensive. And I think the new deal is without release clauses. He's valued at 15 million euros at the moment. And he's not that great. 8 games, 2 goals, 2 assists in Deutsche Pokal. 1 game, 1 goal, 1 assist in Champions League. 3 games, 3 goals, though that's not too bad. But only 4 points out in 8 games in Bundesliga. That's actually not too great. Who they have played? Bochum. Oh, come on. Leverkusen. Okay. Union Berlin. He couldn't score against Union Berlin and St. Pauli even. Oh my god. 2 against Augsburg. He's very streaky. Similarly like Havertz, by the way. Havertz as well. He goes on streaks and then misses a few games. He's something similar, it feels that way. I think it's way too early to judge him. I much rather obviously sign Gyökeres, and I maybe would put my chips on Duran from Aston Villa. Not Robinson, but just the Hato. You're gonna live and die by that Hato sword, won't you? Yeah, he's always injured. Yeah, but that's the thing. Our whole defense is almost always injured. It doesn't matter which position we are talking about. It's Tomiyasu, who is injured and is not gonna be back that soon. There's Zinchenko, who else was injury prone at Arsenal at times? There was none, obviously, Tierney and everything. Our whole defensive line, more often than not, are injured. Gabriel and Saliba are the only ones who are injury free, genuinely. Now I'm gonna knock on wood saying that because I might jinx it, but White gets injured on occasion, but not that often, let's be real. Timber just come back from ACL and is very hit and miss at the moment. Calafiori has been here legitimately for 2 days, and for 1.5 of those days he's been injured. So it's not looking too great, and Calafiori's injury history in general is nothing great to look at as well. Robinson's part of this turn era, that's probably... Arguably, yeah. Arguably, I would agree with this statement. Robinson is part of this USA men's national team's era. That's probably the best ever, arguably. You could put it that way. Arguably, USA, with MLS development and players growing, going more abroad, especially to Europe and everything, you could argue that USA national team at the moment is the strongest one you could maybe have ever seen. I tell Calmiron on loan. Over Sterling? Can we cancel Sterling, take Calmiron on loan, or what? They will play Murphy. You think they will play Murphy? Although Murphy is a bit tricky as well. Duran over Sheshko. See, Nathan agrees. Yeah, BX, Almiron alone. Yeah, what I like about Almiron, since he's from South America, he's Paraguayan, he's very, very trickery. I like that he has that trickery about him. Similar like Nicolas Pepe, although Nicolas Pepe was, again, if he was on it, he was on it. If he didn't feel like it, he, again, was useless pretty much. So that's, yeah, but Almiron, yeah, I like that he's very tricky, very good on the ball. He can dribble and do everything. That's something I really, really like as well about him. We need more of those players in the team. Because for us, we have pretty much mostly athletes in the team who can run, pass the ball, and maybe put in a skill here or there. Most of our players. We need more skills in the team. We are very, very, like, not physical, but we are very, very different from that. Because if let's be real, if we look at City, the team we are competing against, they have mix of everything. They have strength, they have pace, they have ability. On top of that, they have passing ability, proper one, and they have skills as well. They have Savio, they have obviously Bernardo Silva, they have players who can dribble and skill on themselves, with their own. We need more of that in the team, in my opinion. We bought Jesus for Joga Bonito. Yeah, but we are basically in Hospital Bonito every time. It's Joga Hospital every time. As soon as he does a step over, he breaks a kneecap, pretty much. Duran and Rogers then double deal will give them Jesus plus 50. Not enough. Duran will be about 50-55. Rogers, since he's English as well, 50-55. It will be over 100 million. And there's no chance that Jesus they value around even 40 million at the moment. With his finishing and the way he's scoring and the injuries, I would say 35 would be good for Jesus. If we're lucky, 40. Because the injuries are not the best of things that when you try to sell a player. Signing injury-prone players is one of the worst things you can do. It's one of the hardest things you can do, in my opinion. Rodgers was good. Against Arsenal, he single-handedly dismantled the whole Arsenal team when we played against them. Yeah, in this market, the way Rodgers can carry the ball, take on opponents and everything, he will be hella expensive. And you maybe cannot even imagine how much Emery would want for him. Okay, on how Ben White performed at center back against Liverpool. That's Ben's quality. He can play in those positions. Within those positions, he can adapt his role to play different heights, especially in the ball possession. We are demanding against a very difficult, tricky opponent with very particular duels, especially in that second section of the pitch. I still stand by the fact that Ben White is a better right back than center back, but the way he played against Liverpool actually was pretty good. It was weird seeing him at center back at first, obviously, but overall he did actually a very good job. On Newcastle's start of the season, the league position after 9 games is a tricky when you see the fixtures that they have had as well and certain situations they have been through as well, but they are a fantastic team. Yeah, to be honest, you cannot write them off. They had a very weird start of the season. And that's what's bothering me. People are saying we're going to win it and it will be easy because they're struggling. They're not. It's not going to be easy. They're not struggling to a level people most likely imagine. It's not that straightforward when you, especially with early kickoffs. Wait. Who have Newcastle played this season? I think they have played quite a bit of decent big sides. Where is it? Where the season begins? So Southampton 1-0, Bournemouth 1-1. Going away to Bournemouth already is a tough one. Cup they beat Spurs, they beat Wolves, they lost to Fulham, they drew against Man City, they drew against Everton, they lost to Brighton, they lost to Chelsea. They haven't had also an easy start this season. Arsenal has had the toughest start this season, but Newcastle isn't that far off. They're playing at big sides and very tricky high-end mid-table and like top 10, top 12 sides. Very high, very top of the table sides quite a bit. They have also had a tricky start, so that's why this 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses is in a way very deceiving metric to base after 9 games. On Ruben Amorim's potentially becoming United, I cannot talk. Why are you asking? Who cares? It's Arsenal, for fuck's sake. When we play against the United in about a month, then you can ask him that. On what's it like being a young manager in the Premier League? Oh, it's fantastic. Obviously, when you get paid the bag and you can spend 800 million nearly, obviously it's fantastic. I wouldn't say no to that. About Ethan Nwaneri, I can talk about how good he is right now. At 17 years old, to be in a position like he is and one of the biggest clubs in Europe, I think sums up really well that level that he has. What is going to happen in the future is mainly going to depend on him and how much he wants it. It isn't really, is it? Because he can generally score 55 bangers and Arteta will still not start him if Odegaard is fit. How about maybe if Odegaard drops a stinker, drop Odegaard and start Nwaneri for a change? Or let's forget what I said. Arguably, potentially, right? Just play that goddamn kid against your Leicesters. Yeah, you play against your Leicesters, Southamptons and stuff like that. He didn't even get on the pitch pretty much in those games overall. If you look the minutes combined to what he played to what overall minutes was available. He was on the bench. Like, if you are, as Arteta saying, what is going to happen in the future is mainly going to depend on him and how much he wants it. He has already proven how much he wants it with the performances on the pitch when many times he comes on as a sub and does better than more often than not, about 40 to 50% of the team that has been on the pitch the whole game. In those 10-15 minutes when he has spent on the pitch, he has done more and been more dangerous than most of our attackers the whole game at times. Like, how can you say that he doesn't want it in this regard? How can you say he doesn't want it? Like, at the moment he wants it a lot and he's surrounded by right people, and then you will need a crystal... What the hell am I reading? Sorry, not sorry. And then you will need a crystal ball to see where is he to get to going in year, 2 years, 3 years. My prediction is going to be very positive. Listen, if you're not gonna play him, in year or two, he will be at a different club. He will take note from Balogun, Chidobe Martin, Emil Smith Rowe, and the rest of them, and say, screw you, I can do this alone, and I'm gonna go to a different club. 100%. If you screw him over already. If you need a crystal ball, can you freaking not waffle? Just play him and give him the chance so he knows that you count on him, and also in the big games, not just some random cup games against teams a 9-year-old can beat at times. Like, come on, man. Still FA Cup games to play. True, just depends who we play in the FA Cup. That is also a big thing. Because if we play, for example, in Carabao Cup, the next game is against Crystal Palace, right? Will you start Ranieri in that game? Obviously, it depends if Odegaard is fit, but still, will you start him against Crystal Palace? Since he hasn't started him against Leicester's and Southampton's at home, I don't have too much trust and belief that he will start Ranieri against Crystal Palace. And Crystal Palace, by the time, actually might have a different manager as well. But who knows? Do I have belief that what's gonna happen? If we in FA Cup in the first round or second round instantly get someone like Aston Villa, like Liverpool again, do you think we will start Ranieri in those games? Do you have belief that Mikel Arteta will look at those games and say, yep, Ranieri, you will start against Konate and Van Dijk. Off you go. That is the big thing. Exactly, he must play then. Problem is play him versus Guimaraes and Joel Linton, and he drops a stinker, the media will destroy his English, let's not forget. That's the thing. Media will destroy him. I genuinely don't believe that Arsenal fans will. Because this whole, I would say, a bit of a complaining and criticism over Mikel Arteta about the fact that he's not starting Ranieri is basically due to the fact that there are possibilities him to play. Every single time he plays, he has shown that he has the ability and he is good enough. And during the time when we are trying in number 10 Trossard, we are playing players like Jesus, Sterling, who are dropping stinker after stinker every game, he doesn't even get a sniff of the pitch at times. And whenever he's played, he has done more than those players combined throughout the whole game. That's what I think is the reason why Arsenal fans are a bit annoyed, or quite a bit annoyed, with Mikel Arteta overall. I think he'll be too fast for them to... Potentially, to be honest, the way he plays, and to be honest, something that Newcastle, Joelinton, Bruno Guimaraes and those lot will want is get into a physical battle. Two ways to counter a physical battle. First, you are more physical than them and you can basically give them back. Or second, you are quick and technical to get out of these sticky situations. And Ranieri kind of fits the bill of that. Trossard doesn't. That is the thing. Trossard doesn't. Ranieri basically, he will need legitimately one flick of his leg to get the ball past Joel Linton, for example. And if there will be an opening to shoot, he will shoot, just like he did against Preston. That is the thing. The opportunity for Ranieri here is the unpredictability, what he's gonna do. Because we know what we're gonna get, and opposing teams most of the time know what they're gonna get with Odegaard, with Saka, with Havertz, with Martinelli, Sterling, whatever the player is. Ranieri, they haven't seen a lot. They most likely also are not counting on him to play. So it could be a massive element of surprise if he, for example, starts, and they will try to do their usual thing, but if he gets away with that instantly, with some skills and maybe some quick movements carrying the ball, they will not be able to handle him, because he will even grow and more in confidence. Yes, there's a possibility he might have a bad game. I will totally admit that. But I don't think there will be any Arsenal fan in the world that will go and say, Arteta gave him a chance, and it just showed that he maybe is not ready yet. And he will get, and still this season, he will get cup games. He will get some games. He will get some sub time for sure. And if push comes to shove, if something just doesn't go according to plan, he might get a loan. We just need to know if he is ready or not. Because at the moment, we have no idea if he's ready or not. Because we are building hype for Ranieri, obviously, solely based on what we can see and what he has done most of the time against Bolton and Preston. Okay, some some cameos in Premier League when he has done some brilliant things. But we need to see this over a bigger spectrum of time in one game, specifically in Premier League, where competition is much, much harder and much, much more physical, quicker, and much more intense in this instance. We need more of that in the team. We need to see him in that environment. How does he handle the pressure and everything? I don't think Arteta, even if he has a bad game, Arteta won't be too harsh on him. He's a kid. Yes, he's a kid. Sounds mad, but he needs a chance. He just give him a goddamn chance at some point. Arguably, the two best chances he could have had are already gone. Southampton and Leicester at home. Those two chances are gone. So basically, at this stage, if you want to start him against a big side, it has to be Champions League, or it will be in Premier League away, which already is not an ideal environment at times. I don't see playing a lot of first teamers in the cups until quarters. Yeah, true, that could be the case. I think it also depends who we get in the rounds. Because we might get into third, fourth round, and we might get your City, your Liverpool, your Chelsea, and teams like that. And then playing, for example, Aiden Heaven or Setford in goal won't cut it. Then you have to play the big dogs. Let's be real. If you want to win the cup, you're taking it seriously, you have to play the big dogs. And that is also a big thing. And if that happens, Manieri is not going to play, let's be real. Jorginho playing long passes will unlock Ethan because Rice can't split defense. Yeah, Rice definitely can't. Partey can, to some extent. What I love about Partey, he can split defenses and do thread the needle passes and very seemingly easily connect defense to offense. Distributing the ball to either Odegaard or whoever is in number 10 or to Saka. Because remember when we didn't have in the team? Partey was injured and we were playing Rice as a 6. And Odegaard had to drop when we were on the attack, basically near our own box to receive the ball and try to kickstart attack. With Partey's passing ability, Odegaard doesn't have to drop deep. He can get the ball on the center circle or a bit even further than that, or Saka can get there. They don't have to drop deep. Our attack already is advanced in the motion. And I think Jorginho and Partey are the only ones that can do that from the deep at the moment. And I think if Partey plays right back and inverts, it will be very interesting to see. Also, have you watched the Premier League Saka 50 goal comp? The team has generally come so far. Yeah, that's the thing. As much as I think if Arteta doesn't win nothing this season, he should be sacked, still I'm giving him credit for what he has done. How he has changed the team. Obviously, he has spent billions of money, what it feels like, pretty much. But he has changed the team. He has changed the whole attitude of the team. The atmosphere surrounding the team from the fans and everything. He has changed it a whole lot. He has gotten us almost to the top. But obviously, Rodgers did that at Liverpool. He almost got them to the top. And what Liverpool did, when they realized it wasn't good enough, they sacked him. And they got in Klopp, and he got them to the top. Not just near the top. And if Arteta doesn't win it, I think we will have to do what Liverpool did with Brendan Rodgers. Get him out and get someone who can get us to the top. But obviously, season is still 30 games to go almost. So we will have to wait and see. Alder has to, because teams always... That's the thing. He has to, but I remember distinctively last season when I don't remember who was out, Partey or whoever was out. Odegaard was dropping deep in our own end. He was dropping deep. Wait, let's do it this way. Odegaard was dropping deep in well, basically if we do it like this, right? Let's take out Merino, right? Odegaard was dropping deep with now we need Partey as well, sorry. When Partey was having the ball around this area, Odegaard and even Saka, they both were dropping here, somewhere in these areas to get the ball when Partey wasn't there and Rice was playing in this position was Rice. With Partey being in this position, Odegaard can allow himself with Saka to be here because Partey's passing ability is much better and he can do these passes to kind of give it a bit further and give it already in the motion when we are already in their near their final third. We don't have to start the attack from our own from our own third, basically. That's what I like about Partey. The passing ability he possesses is actually quite insane. Who will you get after Mikel? Name one manager, only not or anyone else. Name just one. Inzaghi, Inter, Ancelotti if he gets sacked from Real Madrid by the end of the season. I wanted Hansi Flick at some point, but yeah, he's at Barcelona, so that's not happening. Exactly, yeah. They were trying to cut Odegaard off. That's the way they tried, and it worked as well to some extent. But they legitimately, the way to stop Arsenal is to stop Odegaard and to stop Saka. Double, triple team them, shut them down, and we basically become nobody. On certain level, we become nobody. No imagination, no plan B, no urgency, no nothing. And that's why I want our left side fixed as well, because we need to have a plan B, we need to have a plan C. We cannot only use the right side to do something. We need to use both sides. And the fact that our left side, still to this day, is a bit, not quite questionable, is a big, big worry. I said only one. Sorry, I'm very sorry. Let's see. Nathan agrees. Bring me Inzaghi. I wouldn't mind that try Amorim at Arsenal. But he's going to United. But Amorim it would be very interesting how Amorim would do at Arsenal. He would play 3 at the back, by the way. Amorim would play 3 at the back at Arsenal. That would have been quite insane, to be honest. I would love to see how Arsenal, under a certain manager, would play 3 at the back. With attacking wingbacks like Jabi Alonso does, or like Amorim does, or someone like that at times. That would be actually quite nuts. I would love to see that. I just want to see some change, because we are seeing the same thing, and when it's not working, we don't do anything different. That for me is the annoying part. And because it's been almost 5 years with Arteta at the wheel, and nothing is changing. Nothing is changing, and that's what's worrying. I still like Nagelsmann. For me is like, I can see the point, obviously, but for me it's like 50-50. Much rather have Inzaghi, much rather have who did I say next? Ancelotti if Real Madrid sack him, because the way Real Madrid are going about things at the moment, the way they got peppered by Flick in El Clasico and everything, they lost to Lille. Ancelotti's days might be numbered very soon. Very soon if it keeps this up. Anyways, on whether Mikel has to protect Ethan. I think the biggest thing is to push him. And then when he's being pushed, you always grab him right behind to make sure. Grab him right behind. No Didi, pause, all that stuff, okay. To make sure that he's always stable and protected, but this is what talent you have to push him. The protector is necessary to keep an eye on him and be at the right distance, but he needs to see that he can fly and don't clip any wings. See, this, where was it? Where did I read it? I generally, this one. But needs to see that he can fly. Freaking start him in a game then, against Premier League side. He has to start then. Holy crap in a cracker. And how helpful it is from him to have Bukayo Saka, who has been on the same journey. I think that creates belief in the building. Yeah, just not for Chido Martin and Omari Hutchinson and the other 21 youngsters you just sacked off and didn't want to renew the contract with. All the academy and all the young players we've signed at a very early age at the play pathway, that's clear, and we were going to give them opportunities, and if they earn it, they'll be treated like the rest. On Thomas Partey playing more minutes this season than last. Well, it's hard to play minutes when you're injured, let's be real. So, what do you mean? Thomas Partey already has played more minutes by now than he played the whole season last year, I think it is. Something like that. If I'm not mistaken. Wait, let's check this. By the way, I've been streaming almost for an hour. Not gonna lie, time has flown by. Partey this season has played 1,056 minutes this season. 1,056 minutes. Last season he played 883. See, it's hard to play more minutes when you're injured. Goddamn journals, man. Ask proper questions. On whether there is still here we go. On whether there will be contract talks with Thomas soon. He's only 31 and he's in a really good place, and yeah, we'll have discussions. So there is a possibility that by the end of the season, Thomas Partey stays here for 1 or 2 more years. There is a possibility. On his own talent at the age of 17. Let's be real. Mikel Arteta was a bang average player. And Ethan Mangieri is better. on many instances. Whether his career will follow the same path when he will win stuff depends on him and the teams he plays for and decision making. But let's not go on with that. What he can apply to Ethan from his own experience, individual, a lot of things that I should have done that I learned. So if we can give him advice, great. Obviously, learn and give experience. The physical step up the Premier League matches, it's a huge jump. We need to understand where he's coming from, if he had any issues in the past 3 or 5 years in his growth and development. The physical side as it is the mental side. The tactical side is really important to take care of because a lot goes through the roof straight away without you knowing. When you look back and say, look what he's done in the last 4 months compared to the last 18, we need to keep eye on that. Yeah. And if his meditation helps him with refereeing decisions, what the hell is that for a question? What the hell is that for a question? You really think that on the sideline he's bringing out a mat, sitting in a lotus pose and going, ooh-sa, ooh-sa, ooh. Dude, if he did that, that would be goated. He'd probably get a yellow card for that, but it is what it is. Anyways, moving on. On if he's evolved to manage his emotions. I don't want to miss any games, that's for sure. I cannot promise if you will. If we score a goal, I won't be jumping up and down. To be honest, he's from Spain and they are very passionate people, so we allowed him that. Obviously, sometimes it feels like a bit too much, but hey ho, we are where we are. If Ben's issues is a groin injury, no, it's related more to a joint. Or that could be actually worse. Tomiyasu might be back. I don't expect him to be available before a break, unfortunately. So he's out still for about 3 weeks, at least. On if Inter Milan next week, we'll see Odegaard. Oh, now is the stage when he will do certain work with us. He's training with the main squad potentially already. Let's see how he deals with pain, if he moves naturally enough, if he's physically now at the level that requires him to compete. But with the work rate and the hours he's put in, I would be surprised that the moment he starts training with us, we don't say that he looks ready. Good luck with that. On how he reflected on Newcastle's goal against us last season, I didn't stop on that sequence when we watched it back. It's already in my hard drive, so I didn't want to go through it. On if we have received harsh treatment from referees, dude, stop blaming the referees and just do your job on the pitch. Stop with the excuses. And if there's any lasting consequences from the incident at St. James Park, no, hopefully we've passed. Okay, cool, good enough. Anyhow, what are people saying in the chat? Diego Simeone for the swag alone, plus he plays what we are built for. I don't think Simeone can win Champions League. I don't want to say he's past it, but I think the football has kind of evolved in a way where he doesn't fit it anymore, if that makes sense. There are managers who evolve as football evolves, like Pep and managers like that. And there are ones who are a bit stagnated in their old ways, and I kind of feels that it's not the way. I think he's still a great manager. If Arsenal signed him, I wouldn't be against it. But the way as much as I have watched at the moment how Atletico Madrid play, their results, and how they're looking on the pitch, there are some questions I'm still kind of asking him. We have a squad capable of winning now. I'd look at Conte. Conte just signed for Napoli. I don't think he's coming to Arsenal. Plus, he's on the top of Serie A. For me, it's Inzaghi. For me, it is Inzaghi at the moment. Just also because Conte just signed, so we can't get him. Plus, he's a Spurs coach, so... Although the only place where he hasn't won anything, ironically, is Spurs. Same goes for Jose Mourinho. He's won everywhere, something, except Spurs. So it's the history of the Tottenham. Simone would probably bring in Pogba and Lautaro Martinez. Maybe, but I don't want Lautaro Martinez at Arsenal. It sounds weird, but I don't want Lautaro Martinez at Arsenal. He single-handedly almost cost Argentina the World Cup. And Messi another title. And he also misses so many chances, easy chances for Inter. It's actually kind of painful to watch at times. I don't see Simeone winning us the UCL in Zang. Yeah, that's how I feel. Check the article, Arsenal paying 17.5 for students education. Yeah, I read that. They're hoping to have some more, not to get some other youngsters to get lured in, taken by United's academy and City's academy and others. Dude, you don't have to tell me. Simeone had done well for many years and won many trophies. Comparing Inzaghi with Simeone, true, but Inzaghi at the moment is more into things, and it feels like he plays more suitable football for Arsenal, if that makes sense. Arguably. Yeah, predicted lineup nest. Simeone can identify an attacking player he's had hit. Yeah, that's true. That is something definitely. He had Falcao, Jackson Martinez. Not Jackson Martinez, that other Martinez. Who's the Martinez? That Colombian striker. Why am I blanking on his name? Martinez. Colombian striker, Martinez. Jackson Martinez. No. Who was the Colombian striker? From Porto. He went to Chinese league, I think it was afterwards. Holy crap, how am I blanking on this? Anyways, let's move on. He definitely has had some fair share on brilliant strikers. Diego Forlan, no, well, Forlan kind, not Griezmann, of course, and everything. Forlan, obviously, they have had brilliant strikers. That he definitely. Yeah, it's Jackson. What's his name? I know it's Jackson, but what's his goddamn name? My brain is blanking so hard. I named him like Action Jackson from Chelsea, for God's sakes. I was talking about Falcao. The next thing it was Jackson Martinez. Jackson Martinez. Yes. Thank you, coach. Big up. Jackson Martinez. Yeah. He was the guy. Yeah, I see it. He's playing tennis now. Good luck with that. Not at the moment. He needs to win something. He needs to prove himself. Fully prove himself. He needs to prove himself that he can do something, because Bologna and stuff like that, one thing. Juventus doing decently but still needs to do more. Obviously it's a misfortune that Bremer is out for the whole season, but it is what it is. But he needs to do more. He needs to prove that he can do it at the moment. Although the tactics he's deploying in these games, it's hella weird, but it works, so I'm not gonna judge at the moment. Okay, Arsenal against Newcastle. We're gonna get into Nathan and everything with what he predicted. Arsenal have played Newcastle 85 times since, well, the clubs were done. Woolwich Arsenal versus Newcastle United the first time. Arsenal have won 85 times. Sorry, they have played what? 6, 70, 110. 193 games. Arsenal have won half of those. Lost 69, and drawn 39. There's a long way to go in this. But last game Arsenal played, it was at home, 4-1 win. Quite easy game that was. Arsenal then lost that infamous game, obviously. Then we won against Newcastle away. Drew. While Mikel Arteta has been here, basically, he has won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, won 7, drawn 1, and lost 2. So out of 10 games, he has won 7. So 70% win ratio against Newcastle. That's actually quite impressive, I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, that's quite impressive. But I'm expecting a very tough physical game, especially at St. James Park, early kickoff. It will be hell on earth. But now, we are getting to the last part of the stream. It is starting 11. Starting 11. So Nathan is going with Raya, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Partey, Rice, Merino, because he's stubborn. Makes sense. Martinelli, Havertz, and Saka. Coach is going with Xhaka, Raya, Ben. Yo, did you not read? Where is it? Ben White. We talked about this. Ben White. Why cannot find this? Here we go. With Ben White, we don't know yet. He hasn't trained yet. Since Ben White hasn't trained with the squad, I am putting him as a doubt. And that for me is a big issue at the moment. I get what coach is saying, but you can't understand. Now, what I'm doing here, I think that Arteta is playing a bit of a mind game and Gabriel is gonna play. I think if White is not playing, Partey is playing right back. Partey is playing right back again, if Ben White is not ready. Midfield of Rice. Rice. What am I thinking about here? Merino. Where's Merino? Merino. Timber left back. What am I doing here? Timber left back. This is the back line I'm going for. Yeah. Martinelli, Havertz, and Saka. The biggest question mark for me is this number 10 spot. Who I'm putting as a number 10? That for me is the big question, because I'm playing Partey at the moment solely at right back because I have no idea if Ben White is ready or not. Because what Arteta said is that Ben White hasn't trained with the team and he's not sure whether he's gonna do it or not. For me, this spot, right? Where is Jesus? I would do this. I know you may not agree with me, but I would actually go for it. I actually would go for it. That's the thing. That's how I'm seeing things. Martinelli, Havertz, Saka, Ranieri, Merino, Rice. Partey at right back, Saliba, Gabriel, and Urian Timber. That for me is the big question mark. Now let's see what you're saying in the chat quickly. Saliba, Timber, Ranieri, Havertz, Trossard, bench. They need a refresher. Wait. Havertz didn't start against Preston. Havertz came on as a sub. I don't remember just which minute. Wait, let me check. Havertz didn't start against Preston. Havertz, we played on Wednesday. Correct. Havertz would be nice if it loaded. Havertz came on in... Here we go. Havertz came on in half time. So he played one half. Not sure that this counts as he needs a breather, but I get your point. I definitely get your point. He only played Timber against the Salas and other top wingers, even if Calafiori is out. So you think potentially he might do this? For example, you think he might do something like this? Saka, Havertz, Martinelli, and Ranieri playing behind Kais in attack. Yeah, exactly. That's what I think. Saka, Havertz, Martinelli, and Ranieri in the 10. Rice, Partey if Timber plays right back. If Partey doesn't play right back, of course. Saliba, Gabriel, and Zinchenko on the left. The thing is, the threat from their right side is not that dangerous. So I genuinely could see an argument for Skelly to be playing. As weird as it sounds, as mad as it sounds, there could be some talks about Skelly playing there. Could be. Kai and Trossard aren't scoring right now. True, but we don't have better options up top. It doesn't matter who we play at striker. Jesus, Havertz, or whoever, they're not any. No one is in good form at the moment, scoring wise. Yes, Jesus scored a goal, but that was his first goal in 25 games, so there's no guarantee he will score once again. Plus, Havertz would be more suited for the physical style Newcastle play. Plus, they have very tall defenders. So since we cross the ball at times, we definitely need someone tall in there. And given that our whole attack is below 6 foot, Havertz would be the one to cross the ball to instead of Jesus. Because we have done it so many times, actually annoying. I see Zinchenko playing. Kai just scored a sick header. Exactly. Well, yeah, I forgot. Exactly. Havertz playing behind Kai. He's playing behind himself. Dude. Havertz playing behind Kai. Ranieri playing behind Kai. Yeah, Ranieri. Yeah. Like this. Yeah, Ranieri. Yeah. I get it. Saka, Havertz, Martinelli, and Ranieri playing behind Kai is the attacker. Exactly, that's what I think. That should be the case. I think that's the thing. Havertz would fit against the physicality and tallness against Newcastle's defenders. And I think also Ranieri would fit in, given that that would be a tall curveball for the defense, and that would totally be the proper one. I said Ranieri playing behind him. Dude, I'm not asking what he's playing there and what he's doing. Just play on the pitch there, as far as I'm concerned. Rice, Party. You think Zinchenko will start the game? I generally don't see it. That for me is the big thing. I just do not see it. I do not see it. The good thing is, if we start Timber as a right back, Saka will get much more needed support going forwards, because Saka has said himself that he feels very safe with Timber as a right back, and he can afford to maybe not track back as much. That's something I really enjoy. Arteta is not naive. He won't start kids away versus Newcastle when he didn't. That's the thing. That's the thing. For me, that is the big issue. That for me is the big issue. I would love for Ranieri to start this game. I'm putting this as a bit of a selfish decision as well, but I definitely think exactly, Partey can't give that. Exactly, yes, Saka needs help going forward, and Partey cannot give that. We saw that against who we played the last game. Against who was it against when we just screwed it us totally up? Was it Bournemouth when we lost 2-0 when it totally screwed us up? Or there was some game as well where he was playing right back and it totally screwed us up in the attack where Saka was completely alone, I think. Wait, is that picture still there? Yeah, we'll see. Against Southampton. See, Partey was playing right back in this game, right? And their Saka had no support. They completely shut down all the passing lanes. And Saka either had to try and squeeze the ball between 5 players to someone, or he just had to try and just take on 2 opponents, and it was never going to work. That is the thing. Wait, yeah, this one. That is the thing. Merino to win the mid scrap. Could be. The question is, former team, let's hope no red card for me. Exactly. For me, this is the thing. Merino could play. And again, that for me is that will really piss me off, by the way. Tomorrow before the game, if we see a midfield like this, with basically 3 6s/8s in the team, again, no creativity in the team. No creativity from the midfield. And again, that will be the reason why we will lose the game if that happens. I need someone to create. I need someone to create from the midfield. We had this midfield against... Was it Bournemouth again? Yeah, it was against Bournemouth, and we lost 2-0. We didn't pretty much have shot on target almost the whole game on something. It actually was embarrassing. Yes, I think... If I think about Merino can carry Zinchenko... Yeah, true. You know Arteta is going to play that mid until it... Yeah, that's the thing. That is the thing. That for me is the biggest worry. We need more creativity from the midfield, but unfortunately, I guess Arteta doesn't see it that way. But I can see Arteta starting this tomorrow. Zinchenko at left back sounds very wild. But to be honest, I can see also backline like this. I can see this backline being played tomorrow. Partey, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber. I can see it. If White is not fit. Remember, all this is going around if given that Ben White is not fit. If he's fit, Timber most likely will be a left back. Most likely. But who knows? Who genuinely knows? Anyways, I'm going for a 2-1 Arsenal win. Hard fought, stressful a bit, but Arsenal win nonetheless. Let me know what you think in the chat. Is Arsenal going to win? What's going to happen there? Or how this is going to go? Because I have a few question marks about tomorrow's starting 11, and I don't think I'm gonna like the answers that I'm gonna see tomorrow, but we'll see. Obviously, time will tell what Mikel Arteta thinks about it, so we'll give it time. But yeah, let's see what you're saying. So Nathan is going 2-0 Arsenal, I would assume. And coach is going 4-2 Arsenal. I'm going 2-1 Arsenal. You think really there will be 6 goals in that game? 6 goals in that game. Sounds kind of nuts. I'm not gonna lie, sounds kind of nuts. Anyways, but yeah, as long as Arsenal win, I guess, right? But yeah, anyhow, I think, yeah, from me for you today, that will be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Early kickoff tomorrow, so let's hope it all goes according to plan and we win. Have a nice evening. Enjoy the football tomorrow, of course. There's gonna be a stream tomorrow during the day or during the evening, of course, depending on how I manage my time at the moment. But yeah, both leaky defenses. Yeah, I get that. But yeah, for today, that will be it. So like, comment still if you're watching this as a playback. Subscribe, of course. Click that bell. all that good stuff. See you all tomorrow. Enjoy the football, enjoy your weekend, and yeah, stay safe and have a nice evening.